Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books. This is take 3 on January 22nd, 2021. And we're late. It's 7:25. We're usually start at about 7:15. But we've been struggling with this microphone system. And my trusty techie has got this look on his face. And it says it's still not doing. But is it doing anything?
It's not doing anything. It's just like if you didn't have it plugged in, it's the same thing. Whether it's plugged in or not, it's not making a difference.
But there's the sound. You hear my voice. It's just like sounding echoey.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go through. Okay? So because we're late, we're going to go right into the reading. I've been taking a lot of time here. We hear Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's glorification, poetic glorification of the Sri Caitanya-caritämrta every day. Today we're going to skip it just this once to go right into chapter 16 of the Antya-līlā, and we're hearing about how Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu tasted the nectar of Krishna's lotus lips. Beginning with text 80. One day, when Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu went to visit the temple of Lord Jagannath, the gatekeeper at the Singadwara approached him and offered respectful obeisances. The Lord asked him, "Where is Kṛṣṇa, my life and soul? Please show me Kṛṣṇa." Saying this, he caught the doorkeeper's hand. The doorkeeper replied, "The son of Maharaj Nanda is here. Please come along with me, and I shall show you." Lord Chaitanya said to the doorman, "You are my friend. Please show me where the Lord of my heart is." After the Lord said this, they both went to the place known as Jagamohan, where everyone views Lord Jagannath. "Just see," the doorkeeper said. "Here is the best of the personalities of Godhead. From here you may see the Lord to the full satisfaction of your eyes." Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu stayed behind the huge column called the Garuda Stamba and looked upon Lord Jagannath. But as he looked, he saw that Lord Jagannath had become Lord Kṛṣṇa with his flute to his mouth. In his book known as Gauranga Stava Kalpavriksha, Raghunath Das Goswami has described this incident very nicely. "My dear friend, the doorkeeper, where is Kṛṣṇa, the Lord of my heart? Kindly show him to me quickly." With these words, Lord Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu addressed the doorkeeper like a madman. The doorkeeper grasped the Lord's hand and replied very hastily, "Come, see your beloved. May that Lord Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu rise within my heart and thus make me mad also." Purport. This verse is Gauranga Stava Kalpavriksha 7. Text 88. The offering of food, known as Gopala Balabha was then given to Lord Jagannath, and arati was performed with the sound of the conch and the ringing of bells. When the arati finished, the prasadam was taken out, and the servants of Lord Jagannath came to offer some to Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu. The servants of Lord Jagannath first garlanded Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu and then offered him Lord Jagannath's prasadam. The prasadam was so nice that its aroma alone, to say nothing of its taste, would drive the mind mad. Now unplug and plug it back in. Text 91. text 91. The prasadam was made of very valuable ingredients. Therefore, the servant wanted to feed Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu a little portion of it. Text 92. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu tasted a little of the prasadam. Govinda took the rest and bound it in the end of his wrapper. To Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the prasadam tasted millions upon millions of times better than nectar, and thus he was fully satisfied. The hair all over his body stood on end, and incessant tears flowed from his eyes. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu considered, where has such a taste in this prasadam come from? Certainly, it is due to its having been touched by the nectar of Krishna's lips. Understanding this, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu felt an emotion of ecstatic love for Krishna. But upon seeing the servants of Lord Jagannath, he restrained himself. The Lord then again and again said, only by great fortune may one come by a particle of the remnants of food offered to the Lord. The servants of the Jagannath temple inquired, what is the meaning of this? Purport. The remnants of Krishna's food are mixed with his saliva. In the Mahabharata and the Skanda Purana, it is stated, Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Salpa Punya Batam Rajan Vishwaso Naivajayate. Persons who are not very highly elevated in pious activities cannot believe in the remnants of food, prasadam, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, nor in Govinda, the holy name of the Lord, nor in the Vaishnavas. 97. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu replied, these are remnants of food that Krishna has eaten and thus turned to nectar with his lips. It surpasses heavenly nectar, and even such demigods as Lord Brahma find it difficult to obtain. Remnants left by Krishna are called pela. Anyone who obtains even a small portion must be considered very fortunate. One who is only ordinarily fortunate cannot obtain such mercy. Only persons who have the full mercy of Krishna can receive such remnants. The word sukriti refers to pious activities performed by the mercy of Krishna. One who is fortunate enough to obtain such mercy receives the remnants of the Lord's food and thus becomes glorious. After saying this, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu bade farewell to all the servants. After seeing the next offering of food to Lord Jagannath, a function known as Upalabhoga, he returned to his own quarters. After finishing his noon duties, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ate his lunch, but he constantly remembered the remnants of Krishna's food. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu performed his external activities, but his mind was filled with ecstatic love. With great difficulty, he tried to restrain his mind, but it would always be overwhelmed by very deep ecstasy. After finishing his evening duties, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu sat down with his personal associates in a secluded place and discussed the pastimes of Krishna in great jubilation. Following the indications of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Govinda brought the prasadam of Lord Jagannath. the Lord sent some to Paramananda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu then gave shares of the prasadam to Ramananda Roy, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Sarup Damodar Goswami, and all the other devotees. As they tasted the uncommon sweetness and fragrance of the prasadam, everyone's mind was struck with wonder. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, "These ingredients, such as sugar, camphor, black pepper, cardamom, cloves, butter, spices, and licorice, are all material. Everyone has tasted these material substances before." Purport. The word prakrita refers to things tasted for sense gratification of the conditioned soul. Such things are limited by the material laws. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to make the point that material things have already been experienced by materially absorbed persons who are interested only in sense gratification. However, the Lord continued, in these ingredients there are extraordinary tastes and uncommon fragrances. Just taste them and see the difference in the experience. Apart from the taste, even the fragrance pleases the mind and makes one forget any other sweetness besides its own. Therefore, it is to be understood that the spiritual nectar of Krishna's lips has touched these ordinary ingredients and transferred to them all their spiritual qualities. Purport. Since everyone had previously tasted these ingredients, why had they become extraordinary and spiritually delicious? This was proof that food, prasadam, becomes uncommonly flavorful and delicious by touching Krishna's lips. A fragrance and taste that are uncommon and greatly enchanting and that make one forget all other experiences are attributes of Krishna's lips. This prasadam has been made available only as a result of many pious activities. Now taste it with great faith and devotion. Loudly chanting the holy name of Hari, all of them tasted the prasadam. As they tasted it, their minds became mad in the ecstasy of love. In ecstatic love, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Ramananda Roy to recite some verses. Thus Ramananda Roy spoke as follows. O hero of charity, please deliver unto us the nectar of your lips. That nectar increases lusty desires for enjoyment and diminishes lamentation in the material world. Kindly give us the nectar of your lips, which are touched by your transcendentally vibrating flute. For that nectar makes all human beings forget all other attachments. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:31-14. Upon hearing Ramananda Roy quote this verse, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu was very satisfied. Then he recited the following verse, which had been spoken by Srimati Radharani in great anxiety. My dear friend, the all-surpassing nectar from the lips of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Kṛṣṇa can be obtained only after many, many pious activities. For the beautiful gopis of Vrindavan, that nectar vanquishes the desire for all other tastes. Madan Mohan always chews pan that surpasses the nectar of heaven. He is certainly increasing the desires of my tongue. Purport. This verse is found in the Govinda Lilamrita 8:8. text 120. After saying this, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu was overwhelmed by ecstatic loving emotions. Talking like a madman, he began to explain the meaning of the two verses. My dear lover, Lord Chaitanya said, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, let me describe some of the characteristics of your transcendental lips. They agitate the mind and body of everyone. They increase lusty desires for enjoyment. They destroy the burden of material happiness and lamentation, and they make one forget all material desires. The whole world falls under their control. They vanquish shame, religion, and patience, especially in women. Indeed, they inspire madness in the minds of all women. Your lips increase the greed of the tongue, and thus attract it. Considering all this, we see that the activities of your transcendental lips are always paradoxical. 123. My dear Kṛṣṇa, since you are a male, it is not very extraordinary that the attraction of your lips can disturb the minds of women, but I am ashamed to say that your impudent lips sometimes attract even your flute, which is also considered a male. It likes to drink the nectar of your lips, and thus it also forgets all other tastes. Aside from conscious living beings, even unconscious matter is sometimes made conscious by your lips. Therefore, your lips are great magicians. Paradoxically, although your flute is nothing but dry wood, your lips constantly make it drink their nectar. They create a mind and senses in the dry wooden flute and give it transcendental bliss. That flute is a very cunning male who drinks again and again the taste of another male's lips. It advertises its qualities and says to the gopis, O gopis, if you are so proud of being women, come forward and enjoy your property, the nectar of the lips of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thereupon the flute said angrily to me, give up your shame, fear, and religion, and come drink the lips of Kṛṣṇa. On that condition, I shall give up my attachment for them. If you do not give up your shame and fear, however, I shall continuously drink the nectar of Kṛṣṇa's lips. I am slightly fearful, because you also have the right to drink that nectar, but as for the others, I consider them like straw. The nectar of Kṛṣṇa's lips combined with the vibration of his flute attracts all the people of the three worlds. But if we gopis remain patient out of respect for religious principles, the flute then criticizes us. The nectar of your lips and the vibration of your flute join together to loosen our belts and induce us to give up shame and religion, even before our superiors, as if catching us by our hair, they forcibly take us away and deliver us unto you to become your maidservants. Hearing of these incidents, people laugh at us. We have thus become completely subordinate to the flute. This flute is nothing but a dry stick of bamboo, but it becomes our master and insults us in so many ways that it forces us into a predicament. But what can we do but tolerate it? The mother of a thief cannot cry loudly for justice when the thief is punished. Therefore, we simply remain silent. Such is the policy of these lips, Just consider some other injustices. Everything that touches those lips, including food, drink, or betel, becomes just like everything that touches those lips, including food, drink, or betel, becomes just like nectar. It is thus called Kṛṣṇa pela, or remnants left by Kṛṣṇa. Even after much prayer, the demigods themselves cannot obtain even a portion of the remnants of such food. Just imagine the pride of those remnants. Only a person who has acted piously for many, many births and has thus become a devotee can obtain the remnants of such food. The betel chewed by Kṛṣṇa is priceless, and the remnants of such chewed betel from his mouth, I'll read that again, sorry. The betel chewed by Kṛṣṇa is priceless, and the remnants of such chewed betel from his mouth are said to be the essence of nectar. When the gopis accept these remnants, their mouths become his spittoons. Therefore, my dear Kṛṣṇa, please give up all the tricks you have set up so expertly. Do not try to kill the life of the gopis with the vibration of your flute. Because of your joking and laughing, you are becoming responsible for the killing of women. It would be better for you to satisfy us by giving us the charity of the nectar of your lips. While Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu was talking like this, his mind changed, his anger subsided, but his mental agitation increased. Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu continued, "This nectar from Kṛṣṇa's lips is supremely difficult to obtain, but if one gets some, his life becomes successful." When a person competent to drink that nectar does not do so, that shameless person continues his life uselessly. There are persons who are unfit to drink that nectar, but who nevertheless drink it continuously, whereas some who are suitable never get it, and thus die of greed. It is therefore to be understood that such an unfit person must have obtained the nectar of Kṛṣṇa's lips on the strength of some austerity. Again, Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu said to Ramananda Roy, "Please say something. I want to hear." Understanding the situation, Ramananda Roy recited the following words of the gopis. "My dear gopis, what auspicious activities must the flute have performed to enjoy the nectar of Kṛṣṇa's lips independently and leave only a taste for us gopis, for whom that nectar is actually meant. The forefathers of the flute, the bamboo trees, shed tears of pleasure. His mother, the river on whose bank the bamboo was born, feels jubilation, and therefore her blooming lotus flowers are standing like hair on her body." Purport. This verse, quoted from Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10.21.9, is part of a discussion the gopis had among themselves. As the autumn season began in Vrindavan, Lord Kṛṣṇa was tending the cows and blowing on his flute. The gopis then began to praise Kṛṣṇa and discuss the fortunate position of his flute. Upon hearing the recitation of this verse, Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu became absorbed in ecstatic love, and with a greatly agitated mind, he began to explain its meaning like a madman. Some gopis said to other gopis, "Just see the astonishing pastimes of Kṛṣṇa, the son of Vrajendra. He will certainly marry all the gopis of Vrindavan. Therefore the gopis know for certain that the nectar of Kṛṣṇa's lips is their own property and cannot be enjoyed by anyone else. My dear gopis, fully consider how many pious activities this flute performed in his past life. We do not know what places of pilgrimage he visited, what austerities he performed, or what perfect mantra he chanted. 144. This flute is utterly unfit because it is merely a dead bamboo stick. Moreover, it belongs to the male sex. Yet this flute is always drinking the nectar of Kṛṣṇa's lips, which surpasses nectarian sweetness of every description. Only by hoping for that nectar do the gopis continue to live. Although the nectar of Kṛṣṇa's lips is the absolute property of the gopis, the flute, which is just an insignificant stick, is forcibly drinking that nectar and loudly inviting the gopis to come drink it also. Just imagine the strength of the flute's austerities and good fortune. Even great devotees drink the nectar of Kṛṣṇa's lips only after the flute has done so. When Kṛṣṇa takes his bath in universally purifying rivers like the Yamuna and the Ganges of the celestial world, the great personalities of those rivers greedily and jubilantly drink the remnants of the nectarian juice from his lips. Aside from the rivers, the trees standing on the banks like great ascetics and engaging in welfare activities for all living entities drink the nectar of Kṛṣṇa's lips by drawing water from the river with their roots. We cannot understand why they drink like that. The trees on the bank of the Yamuna and the Ganges are always jubilant. They appear to be smiling with their flowers and shedding tears in the form of flowing honey. Just as the forefathers of a Vaishnava son or grandson feel transcendental bliss, the trees feel blissful because the flute is a member of their family. The gopis considered, the flute is completely unfit for this position. We want to know what kind of austerities the flute executed, so that we may also perform the same austerities. Although the flute is unfit, he is drinking the nectar of Kṛṣṇa's lips. Seeing this, we qualified gopis are dying of unhappiness. Therefore, we must consider the austerities the flute underwent in his past life. While thus speaking, like a madman, Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu became full of ecstatic emotion. In the company of his two friends, Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Roy, he sometimes danced, sometimes sang, and sometimes became unconscious in ecstatic love. Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu passed his days and nights in this way, expecting the mercy of Swarup, Rupa, Sanatan, and Raghunath Das, and taking their lotus feet on my head, I, the most fallen Kṛṣṇa Das, continue chanting the epic Sri Caitanya-caritämrta, which is sweeter than the nectar of transcendental bliss. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Caitanya-caritämrta, Antya-līlā, 16th chapter, describing the nectar flowing from Sri Kṛṣṇa's lotus lips. Jai Shri Krishna Prashadam Ki Jai. The nectar of Krishna's lotus lips, which perfume and electrify the prasadam. Ki Jai. All the devotees of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu who shared with him these ecstatic pastimes. Ki Jai. I hope they could hear that. It was so beautiful. Did you get anything, messages?
Yeah, there's a couple just saying it doesn't sound proper.
But did they hear it? They can hear it.
Yeah, I can hear it on here.
Anyway, let's have some discussion now. It's 8 o'clock, and we started late and we ended about the same time. But anyway, I can tell a story. Can I start? When I was in France, in New Mayapur, many years ago, in 1979, I think, 78 or 79, there was a young man who joined, and he was from a very well-to-do family, and his father was the publisher of one of the biggest magazines in France. And one day the boy said that his father wanted to come visit. So we thought, oh, this is a good opportunity. So we pulled out all the stops, so to speak. And we got the best cook, and we got together the best ingredients. We got the favorite pujari to offer it. So when the man came, we had a very nice greeting, and we sat him down nicely and showed him around. And then we sat down and started honoring the prasadam together. And he looked like he was having a good time. He was actually smiling and, you know, even giggling, sometimes laughing. And so we thought, oh, this is fantastic. So then what happened was, he went back to his magazine and he wrote an article, an expose article on the Hare Krishnas. He said, now I have the direct evidence. I went to their place and they served me their food and I became intoxicated. This is proof that they put drugs in their food. So, because he was a big guy and it was published, the police came and they turned the place upside down. They looked everywhere. They found nothing. So what's the word? We threatened him, actually, that if he didn't publish a retraction of what he just said, we were going to take him to court or something. I can't remember exactly, but it was something like that. And he did, and his newspaper, his magazine went down. So the moral of the story is that even a personality who has not performed any austerities, when they taste Krishna Prasadam, they can taste that it's different. Even if they can't taste all the things that Lord Chaitanya and his eternal associates were tasting here in this chapter, it tastes different. And all of us who have tasted Krishna Prasadam knows that eternal truth. Hare Krishna. Okay, I turn it over to you for reflections. They're not into it, huh?
Some people are saying the volume is low.
So sorry. So sorry. I don't know what to do. We're doing everything the same that we usually do. The microphones work perfectly well, doing in the same position, just, recording them, right from the phone, not going through Facebook. But then it started working again. we have no answer. If there's any techies out there that want to give us a suggestion, we certainly will accept your suggestion. But for now, what can I do? We're at the merciless hands of this technology. I wish you were all here in the room and could have heard this nicely. So answer my question. Is it unbearable? Or is it just a lot different? Could you still hear the words? Could you still feel the emotion? Somebody please respond.
Sudevi Dasi says the sound is very good on my end.
Now Sudevi is in complete ecstasy. She just went into ecstatic bliss, and she's hearing things like nobody else is hearing things. Hare Krishna.
One comment from Santarupa Devi Dasi.
Okay, go ahead.
She says, today we tasted the difference whilst honoring prasadam.
That means everybody heard. Hare Krishna. Well, I'm very happy to hear that. And we will try our best to make an arrangement to get these microphones to work as soon as possible.
There's all kinds of comments coming in. Yadutamadas says, yes. Jai Sachinandana says, yes, I heard very well. Vrindavaneshwari says, absolutely. Sudevi says it's clear and loud enough. Anandamurti Devidasi says, I could hear. I understand the power of prasad. I am fortunate to run the prasad restaurant.
Okay, we're satisfied. They can hear. It may not be perfect, but the subject matter is perfect. What else?
There's a comment from Vilas Manjari.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
She says, I found this verse intriguing. Text 112. The nectar of Krishna's lips has touched these ordinary ingredients and transferred to them their spiritual qualities. Would you like to elaborate on this, Maharaj, on the spiritual qualities of the ingredients?
No. The ingredients are the same, but the qualities of the ingredients change when they're offered to Krishna and he tastes them. But not only that, he can taste them through his ears or through his eyes. And it changes just like it does when he tastes it with his mouth. That's the nature of Kṛṣṇa. He is unlimited, inconceivable, and he can do anything. And when one has full faith in that, without a doubt, he can taste these things to the degree that he actually has faith, to the strength of his faith. And I think by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy and Prabhupada's mercy, all of us who have joined this movement, especially those who are initiated, have tasted this, tasted the difference. And even guests oftentimes remark on the difference of prasadam and how satisfying it is. So that you may not be able to understand the logistics of it, or the physics of it, but that's because it's spiritual, and it acts on spiritual laws. And spiritual laws are different than material laws. In the spiritual world, you can taste a taste forever. And then when you taste that same thing, the taste increases forever. And one's whole life is like that. In spontaneous love, there is full knowledge. And that full knowledge gives one the ability to know what to do and what not to do at every moment, naturally, without having had to go to school, or study Shastra for a few lifetimes. It's all there, automatically in the heart, spontaneously. And still, sometimes there's competition. Just like we heard, gopis are criticizing the flute's giving a comeback criticism of the gopis. These things are going on, but they're not like the emotions that we feel here, which causes, misunderstandings and sometimes even violence and horrific scenes. Therefore, we should want to go there to be able to experience these things. You cannot experience these things unless you're in a spiritual body, unless you're fully realized your identity in relationship with Kṛṣṇa. So this is meant to give us impetus to increase the eagerness, the anxiousness to be able to be with Kṛṣṇa and to taste these things. And the way we get there is to give these things to others. Distribute Kṛṣṇa Prasadam, cooked very nicely with love and devotion, and offered with love and devotion to the deities, according to all the rules and regulations. In this way, we're all assisting Srila Prabhupada in spreading this movement. He's assisting Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who's assisting his spiritual master all the way back to Lord Chaitanya himself. So, have no doubt, we are participating in the Krishna consciousness movement, the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu. And therefore, even though the world is going through so much chaos and confusion and even anger and violence right now, in politics, we are just in bliss hearing the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu. Hare Krishna.
There's a comment from Rati Manjari.
Hare Krishna, Rati, forgive us for our, wayward microphones or whatever they are, whatever happening. I promise you I will test these as soon as we stop tonight. I will test these microphones under all the different conditions and all the different wires to make sure that we know it's not the mic. If it is, we'll get mics right away as soon as possible. I was already told by Divide that he would send new mics as soon as we need them.
So Rati's comment. She says, Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. The more I hear these exalted topics, the more I realize the great difference between the spiritual world and topics and the complicated, horrible mess of the times we are living in. It is disturbing. Thank God for transcendental messengers like you who keep broadcasting the transcendental subject matters.
I am just your servant. Hare Krishna. All right, everyone.
Something just came.
Go ahead.
From Rati Manjari, she says, tomorrow we will again go out, once again to spread the pure holy names of the Lord. Please bless us to be spiritual warriors.
You are already a spiritual warrior, along with all those who are following you. So be it. Hare Krishna. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Sri Caitanya-caritämrta ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. See you tomorrow night, same time, same place. Hopefully the mics will work, and if they don't, believe me, we'll get the proper mics as soon as possible. Hare Krishna.